Hello. Well, in Sheffield, which is a town in South Yorkshire, there's an establishment called Spearmint Rhino. I believe there are several of them all over the world. The significance of the word rhino is probably not lost on you intelligent subscribers to my channel. But why spearmint? Well, I'm afraid the significance is lost on me, but maybe I'm very naive. And if anyone can tell me why they think spearmint came into the moniker, let me know. Spearmint Rhino is what is known as a gentleman's club. Although the sort of personage who goes there, well, I can't really believe that he's a gentleman, but whatever. Now, apart from that, there's the word club. A club is usually an association of people who join together for a common purpose, like a golf club, for instance. Is this not straight? I think that might have been a bit crooked. Oh dear. Well, we'll see how it goes. A golf club, for instance, which involves itself in a lot of people trying to sink balls into holes. No coincidence with Spearmint Rhino, and I shall say no more about that. Or the Rotary Club, which does involve itself in good works like providing for the poor and shipping tents out to war zones to house refugees, for instance. And when you go to such clubs, when you meet somebody you know from work, for example, what you will usually do is beam politely and say something like, "Oh, hello, haven't seen you for a while. How's the wife or husband or whatever?" As for Spearmint Rhino, I should think that if you met someone you know in a place like that, you're unlikely to acknowledge their existence at the very best, and at worst you might make a dive for the cloakroom. Anyway, this is a club which isn't really a club, and the gentlemen who aren't really gentlemen go to Spearmint Rhino in order to watch entertainment, which... No, I'm not going to say that. Whatever, the entertainment is provided by young women, some of whom are not that young actually, who take off their clothes so they can earn money to, well, buy clothes, I suppose. Now, this establishment happened to catch the attention of some ladies who, actually, I wouldn't refer to as ladies, who call themselves feminists, although I wouldn't call them feminists either. And Spearmint Rhino has been under investigation because apparently they've been abusing their terms of service. Some of the girls have been involved in inappropriate touching. Yes, goodness me, because sex is the last thing that Spearmint Rhino is involved in with its ladies and its gentlemen. And how do I know this? Why? Because a group of feminists who collectivise themselves and call themselves Not Buying It got together and stumped up some cash to pay some ex-coppers who were working as private detectives. I believe the word for them is dicks. But then, perhaps I'm wrong, these men were paid to visit Spearmint Rhino and surreptitiously film the women performing their act, or their acts. They then turned over the videos to Not Buying It, who took videos, straight to the council to support their claim that Spearmint Rhino should lose its licence for irregular behaviour. And that was around May. That council deliberated and, hang on a minute, the undercover cops were ex-policemen, it says. Were they, do you suppose, employed by the South Yorkshire Police? Sheffield is, after all, in South Yorkshire. Not too far from Rotherham, actually. Also, not that far from Barnsley, Bradford, Leeds, and, of course, back home in Sheffield. And all administered by the South Yorkshire Police. Isn't it strange how these men couldn't find little girls being raped in Rotherham, but they managed to find strippers acting slightly inappropriately of their own volition in a strip club? This is the main page of Not Buying It. Motto: selling women's bodies. We're not buying it. All very worthy. What I want to know is where they were when those 11-year-old girls were being raped and traded. They weren't being sold. They were being traded. Where were those private dicks at the time? Meanwhile, on the Not Buying It website, we have this dreadful case of a sex worker in Glasgow beaten by one of the punters in a club. I looked through their whole page, but I didn't find any outrage about this. Abused by 70 men and only 2 brought to justice. So, Not Buying It, an organisation of feminists who are not feminists, going after a club that isn't a club, for gentlemen who aren't gentlemen. But then they make no attempt to assist girls who have been so abused they're not girls anymore by men who are not even men, in a country where the law isn't the law. Anyway, the council decided in the end, after lengthy investigation, that the club could stay open. And they also made the point that the feminists, who aren't feminists, might have violated the rights of the strippers for filming them in that way. It didn't help, of course, the strippers were sacked by Spearmint Rhino. What choice did they have for acting inappropriately? And the women lost their livelihoods. Well done, girls. It's nice to be a feminist, isn't it? Doesn't matter how much damage you do, you've still got that warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart that you did the right thing. If you want to donate or contact, the information will be rolling over the Graniopteryx as I speak. Please like, subscribe and share because it does help with the algorithm. If you visit my channel on YouTube and one day discover that I've disappeared without warning, you'll still find me on BitChute or Minds. Just go to either of those platforms and do a search for Graniopteryx. If you're already watching this on BitChute or Minds, good for you. Meanwhile, if you're watching this on YouTube, remember that you must keep checking the subscribe and bell icons because occasionally they reset. Till next time.